This is Sleep Fader, where mindfulness, music, stories, and sound design come together to remix your inner dialogue, bring down the stress levels, and dial in your best sleep. Hey, it's Jeff. And here you are, back with me in the studio lounge, where, if we do this right, we'll find our way to a place of relaxed calm. It's interesting, I think, that we commonly refer to states of mind like calm or safe as places or spaces, as in, I'm not in a good space for that right now, or this is my happy place. We're good at wrapping complex physiological and emotional conditions in simple and familiar language. We discuss moods, feelings, and mindsets as though they're physical places we've been, or targets we'd like to reach. We like the idea of place, and finding our way to spaces that feel good. We also happen to spend a lot of time in places and spaces that we don't easily find words for, because we don't even notice when we've slipped into them. I'm talking about liminal spaces. The concept is derived from the Latin word limen, meaning threshold. Spaces where and when change is the only thing that's really happening. Sometimes these are physical places, sometimes emotional, sometimes both. The story I've been telling you often visits these kinds of places. And the music I've created is meant to serve as a sort of soundtrack for them. It's all part of meeting you here, at the threshold of sleep. Words, music, and sound for Sleep Fader are written, composed, produced, and engineered by yours truly. For now, Sleep Fader is ad-free. If you like what you're hearing and it helps you rest, support the show by subscribing at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you love to listen. Your ratings and reviews will also help me reach more people. Visit sleepfader.com to make a secure donation, or for more info about how and why I make the show. There's a bit of uncertainty in liminal space. If you've ever walked down a long, empty hallway in an unfamiliar hotel or office, or climbed a secluded stairway in a parking garage, you know what I mean. We tend to move through these hallways and stairwells pretty quickly. We don't much like uncertainty, and this holds true for emotional transitions as well. There's evidence linking being in a liminal state, or liminality, with creativity. Our feelings and sensations become amplified, so it's no wonder that our minds can get up to all kinds of things when we lay down to rest. The experts agree we shouldn't try to fight our way past or through liminal spaces. The best course is acceptance and finding ways to stay grounded in the present moment. Listening and noticing, hearing and feeling, here and now. These are the skills we practice in the studio lounge to help prep your mind and body, to help you cross the threshold comfortably. I'll let this play for a while. As always, try to give the music some focused attention. Try latching on to any part of the sound that resonates. And while listening, try to notice sensations in your body. Those places where your body meets the mattress, or the gentle weight of your blanket. And if your mind wanders, that's fine. Just take a slow breath in and release it, nice and easy, returning your attention to the music, to the feelings in your body. Okay. Hopefully you found a comfortable place, a relaxed space. We're standing at the threshold now, ready to cross over, back into the story. Just one more step, and I'll meet you on the other side. Her voice rouses me from a dream, the texture and form of it slipping away before I manage to open my eyes, like sand through my fingers. The cabin is dimly lit, the ambient music reduced to a murmur. Comforting warmth radiates through the soft leather cushions supporting me. A dark glass partition remains between me and the voice coming through the vehicle's speakers. The system sounds as expensive as it looks. Jade has a good voice for radio. Okay, passengers, you've been pretty quiet back there. If you're sleeping, this is your wake-up call. We're on the approach now. ETA is about 15 minutes. I look around the cabin for a talkback button, or some way to lower the partition. Vera the Russian Blue, the only other passenger in the vehicle, stretches, jumps down from her spot near the bar, crosses over the broad leather bench seat, and places a paw on the panel below the flat screen monitor. Jade's face fills the screen. Her dark curls are tucked under a classic chauffeur's cap, and she's traded her round glasses for mirrored lenses of the same shape. A bit odd, considering that it's pitch black outside the car windows. She glances in the direction of the camera and asks, "How's my girl doing?" "Seems fine. Slept most of the way, I think." "Good girl, Vera." Vera gives an offhand meow and jumps up into my lap again. I slept quite a bit myself. Couldn't tell you if we've been driving for 6 hours or 16, though. Time feels a little slippery since I received the invitation that brought me here. Wherever here turns out to be. Jade's eyes move from the road to the camera and back again, like she's waiting for me to say something. So I do. This is all a little unusual, right? Picking up a stranger, driving through whatever that was, not knowing where we're headed. She looks up into the camera again. I assume she can see me too, and I wonder if I look as disheveled and out of it as I feel. "Stranger. Interesting. I know where I'm going, and anyway, he asked for you. You must have impressed him." I'm unsure how to respond to that, so I slide over to the mini fridge, hoping to find a bottle of water. I'm not disappointed. I unscrew the cap and polish off about half of it before deciding I may as well ask an obvious question. Will he be meeting us? Jade raises an eyebrow over her shades. "We'll see. You may have noticed he's not much of a talker. And right now, I'm not either. Ride's over in 10. The monitor blinks off, and for now, it's just me and Vera again. I stroke the fur at her neck, while she regards me with her knowing amber eyes. Eyes that project eons of generationally refined instinct, confidence, and grace. I have to admit, she's pretty impressive. Some time ago, I listened to a radio interview with a feline behavioral specialist. Public radio, obviously. Anyway, this expert described cats as being creatures of place. By this, she meant that rather than attaching to people or other animals as sources of safety and security, cats instead associate these concepts and feelings with territory. She said it has to do with them evolving from solitary wildcat ancestors, or some such thing. They're very different from dogs, who evolved from wolves, social animals that thrive in packs. So if you take a cat away from its territory, you're removing it from everything it identifies as safe. I'm under the impression that Vera the Russian Blue spends a great deal of time here in the well-appointed back cabin of this car. I've accepted that this lavish coach is likely much more than a car. What with the shifty-feeling passage of time and the otherworldly views through the window. But I don't want to examine that too closely at the moment. Right now, I'm thinking about territories and wondering how many Vera has marked during her travels with Jade. When a creature of place marks a territory that's always on the move, like this vehicle, how does that affect concepts of attachment or associations with safety and security? Before inheriting my uncle's oceanside sanctum, I spent a lot of time on the road mulling over my own questions of place and belonging. I often spent more time between places than in them, so much that the in-betweens became my territory, my safe places. Cars, buses, trains. Whatever the mode of travel, outside the windows were mostly predictable fluctuations of hills and valleys, towns and cities, power lines and pine trees, wealth and poverty. Move around enough and you'll realize the pictures change, but the feel stays the same. Someplace left behind, someplace waiting ahead. I became intimate with the intermediate, and for a long time that suited me well enough. Maybe that explains my easy accommodation of things like oracular guitar picks, inexplicable coincidences, trance-inducing shop window displays, and vinyl LP-powered teleportation. Adaptability is a kind of a practice. Still, I can't help but wonder what will happen when we finally stop moving. Will Vera dare to leave the safety of her four-wheeled domain? Are we headed into familiar territory that she's already marked safe? I've placed Jade now. I can't believe I didn't see it right away. The Lennon spec should have been enough, though I've only seen her once before that I know of, and from across the dining area at Schmitty's. Or maybe, like the items on the walls and shelves of the Minor 7, Jade hadn't really wanted to be seen that night. She just wanted to blend in with the tourists, drink her mojito, and leave that drawing for me to find. The car slows to a stop, and once again, Jade's voice comes through the speakers. "All right, passengers. The local time is whenever. The weather is what it is. Be sure to collect all your belongings, and I'll be around to assist you with your exit shortly. Thanks for flying." I decide she's joking about flying. It's just easier. Vera jumps down off my lap, rubs her flank against my leg, marking me as safe. Before I have time to wonder why I'll need assistance with my exit, the door opens, and Jade is there, backlit by a radiance so bright I have to shield my eyes. I step out onto white, polished concrete floor, surprised to find myself indoors. We're parked at the center of an enormous and mostly featureless dome. It takes a moment for my eyes to adjust to the light radiating from the vast curving walls, the colors modulating subtly, rhythmically. Orange to violet, violet to blue, and back again. Like the walls are breathing. In and out. In and out. A sonorous hum follows along. I take a few steps, then pause with my hands on my hips, stretching backward, staring up toward the top of the dome, which seems impossibly high. Vera jumps down through the open passenger door, twining herself between my ankles. Jade leans against the car with her arms crossed, her shades mirroring the dome's pulsating hues. Again, waiting for me to say something. So I do. "You drew the picture that night. You left it for me. Why? What is it? Who are the people on the beach? Who is the shopkeeper?" The questions flow from me, like a deep, exercising release of breath I didn't know I was holding. Letting them pour out of me, and out into the far reaches of the dome's measureless rotunda, is a great relief. I may be adaptable to the unknown, maybe even a little predisposed toward it, but I'm only human. Jade just raises an eyebrow over her kaleidoscopic shades and gestures toward the far side of the dome. I follow the direction of her hand and in the distance find a small dark opening. I look back toward Jade, then down at Vera, who's now busy bathing herself at my feet. I look back toward that small shadowed opening. Around it, the walls continue breathing that deep, blossoming glow. In and out. I look at Jade again. Silence is golden, I guess. Wonder where you picked that up. Jade uncrosses her arms and walks slowly toward me, her footsteps soundless on the concrete floor. Finally, I notice that aside from that low, resonant breathing of the walls, there are no other sounds inside the immense reflective dome. No echoing clack of Jade's boot heels striking the floor. No rattle of the car's idling motor. Not the sound of my own voice or even my own breathing. The persistent breathing light offers the only audible signal. She stands directly in front of me, and two versions of myself stare back, reflected in the lenses of her Lenin specs. I briefly assess my twin expressions. The word dumbstruck comes to mind. Then the reflections ripple, like a pool of mercury, and the lenses are clear glass again, and I'm staring into Jade's eyes. Golden yellow eyes, the irises pulsing in sync with the dome's breathing light. She clasps both my hands in hers. They're warm and dry. I can't hear what she says, but it's clear enough as she mouths the words. Go. He's waiting. I'll admit, I'm more than a little entranced by Jade's ethereal gaze. But I force myself to look again toward the faraway opening in the wall. It's a doorway. I'm meant to go through it, that's all. There's a long span of empty, white concrete floor between me and it. A whole lot of in-between space, which, in theory, I should be pretty comfortable with. I've had some practice with that. I shoulder my guitar, eye-packed light as instructed, lock onto the rhythm of the glowing walls, and start walking. I look back in time to see Vera leap high and effortless into Jade's arms. I guess she's staying behind after all. I aim myself at the small dark opening on the far side of the dome. The walls breathe sound and light, and I think about the in-between places again, remembering what it was about my time on the road that brought me comfort. How, even now, as I walk through the blank space and into what's sure to be anomalous territory, I can exhale all of my questions, expectations, and assumptions. My long-held breath can be released. Because here, in between, no longer where I was and not yet where I'm going, I can rewrite myself again and again, with no rules or judgment or self-imposed limits. Between where I am and whatever is next, I'm neither who I was, nor who I will be. The respiration of the walls tows me forward, and as the opening moves closer, the curtain of shadows is drawn back. I can see now that it's only a simple white-painted door. No door frame, just a shallow recess in the towering concrete wall. I walk another 20 soundless steps, then another 10. 5 more and I make out a brass handle. 3 more after that, and I'm there. The handle is old, worn and pitted. It looks, unsurprisingly, like something that would fit right in on the shelves of the minor 7. I pause at the unmarked door and breathe along with the walls, flattening both my hands against it, feeling for vibration, warmth, anything. The door yields no sign of what lies on the other side. I rest my palm on the brass handle. I breathe in deeply and exhale slowly. I grasp and turn the handle, pushing the door open. A creature of place, at the threshold of the unknown.